Hello, my friends. It is game night. We are roughly 2 hours away from puck drop at the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. Bear with me 1 second. I have an issue in the back. Hold on. 1 second. Madison Square Garden, where your New Jersey Devils will take on the New York Rangers in a highly anticipated game that both teams desperately need the 2 points. Welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Runnin with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And this is a big one, fellas. This is a monstrous one. Your New Jersey Devils, fresh off of snapping a 4-game losing streak in Seattle with that glorious Jacob Markstrom theft. A pure theft by Jacob Markstrom to get the New Jersey Devils 2 points in Seattle. Coming back to the tri-state area, they slept in their beds for probably the past couple nights. And at the Garden to host the Rangers, who desperately trying to claw back into the playoff picture. Now, a lot of people have written them off for dead. I certainly have not. I've said time and time again, whenever you have a guy like Igor Shesterkin in net, I could never count you out. And I believe, that they will make a run at some point to kind of get back in. That they're only 4 points out of the second wild card spot with half the season to go. Still plenty of time. But the New Jersey Devils need this 2 points as well. In second place in the Metro, obviously that 4-game slide did not help. Neck and neck with the Canes in terms of points percentage, looking to catch the Washington Capitals, who have been playing ridiculous all season long, while Alexander Ovechkin chases the Wayne Gretzky goal record. And I guess it's not too early to pour my first drink, right? I was getting started a little early. You guys already know what I'm going with. Dirty Devil Vodka, the official vodka of the great Martin Brodeur. Dirty Devil Vodka, smooth as hell. Going to pour a little bit of this on the ice here. And I'm going to do a little splash of, let me get a little more. And do a little splash of the old lemon lime seltzer, I think, is what I'm gonna go with. Got a little bit of the seltzer, a little splash. But the story tonight, guys, the story of tonight is, well, number one, Igor Shesterkin returns in goal for the New York Rangers. Hopefully he doesn't have a performance for the ages. But in my opinion, the biggest story coming out of the night, fresh off yet another suspension, the 8-game variety, Matt Rempe back in the lineup for the New York Rangers. And what does that mean? Confirmed by James Nichols about an hour ago, maybe a little less. The toughest man in the National, Curtis McDermott, returning to the Devils lineup, something I've wanted to see, for several games now, beyond just the whole Rempe storyline in the Rangers. There's been a lot of games as of late that have gotten extremely chippy, teams taking liberties, things getting a little physical, and this was overdue. And now we may see a long-awaited rematch. April 3rd, 2024, the night of the line brawl. And that Curtis McDermott Rempe main event of the line brawl was one for the ages. I mean, credit to Rempe. I thought he was going to get completely murdered. He stood in there. He lost the decision. But, wow, what a tilt that was. What a night that was. Line brawls, just not even a line brawl. A line brawl is really 3-on-3. That was a full 5-on-5. Love to see it. I don't anticipate another one of those. A lot of people have been clamoring for one. We may never see something like that again. But I certainly would like to see the latest chapter of McDermott versus Rempe. Rempe, I think, is going to be playing very timid. A lot of people were speculating like, oh, Rempe's in the lineup. He's going to run around and hurt one of our guys. He's going to be very hesitant to throw hits because coming off that 8-gamer, he basically was told by the Department of Player Safety that, your next one is going to be a monster one. The next one's going to be in the 20-25 game range. And that could be the kiss of death on his career. And so now I do believe he is going to be playing super cautious, not looking to land a hit that might find him in another suspendable situation. So I think that is going to limit him somewhat. With that being said, if he's in the lineup, he's not going to get suspended for fighting. It's more of the dirty hits he's been throwing. And so I think if Curtis goes after him, maybe he runs away again like we've seen in the past. I hope not. And we'll see. But the anticipation is brewing. My buddy Ranger fan Chris will be in the building to watch the game with me. He will be joining us for the post-game live. Hopefully I'm just ripping him mercilessly like I have the past or the one game I went to, so he wasn't here for that. But the first one at the Garden, he was here for, and he was not happy, during the game at any point or afterwards. But he took his wounds like a champ. But I'm super pumped for this one. Devils need the 2 points. Hopefully Markey's on top. Hopefully we see that defense, that lockdown defense that set an NHL record, only allowing 20 shots or less for 7 consecutive games. We need to see that defense return because as of late, chances have been coming too often, in my opinion, and I think for everybody. High quality chances, high danger chances, odd man rushes, breakaways. I mean, you name it. You've been seeing it against the New Jersey Devils as of late, and hopefully that tightens up. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Alan, what's going on? Yeah, but McDermott is not. Did you see the Rangers' fourth line? 6'6", Adam Enstrom, 6'9", Matt Rempe, and tough as nails, Sam Carrick. Keep open your eyes. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I would have been, I love General Keefe, but if McDermott was not in the lineup tonight, I would have probably very quickly changed my tune. When Rempe's coming back, you have no choice but to put McDermott in there. Absolutely no choice. Alan also says Brendan Dillon can only take one guy on at a time. We'd love to see Dilly get a scrap. That one with Carrick in the last game at The Rock a couple days before Christmas, that was an awesome one. I was in the building for that. Absolutely electric atmosphere for Instagram Hockey Part 2. And tonight we have Instagram Hockey Part 3. John Fay, if McDermott doesn't get the go, then something or someone must face consequences if one of our guys get hurt. Not to worry your little head, John Fay, because the toughest man in the National will be out there patrolling the ice. Yo, Holmes, Rempe is in. Big Mac has to answer the bell. Well, to me, it'd be Rempe has to answer the bell. I don't know that Rempe's going to be looking for the fight with McDermott, but hopefully McDermott's looking for the fight with him. And so it would have to be Rempe has to answer the bell. But we'll see how it all plays out. The Garden's going to be electric. John says Kreider and Cheadle out. Richard Zimmer, what's going on? Heavier, edger, more violent. I'm so excited for this game. Let's go Devils. Zupa Maki, hopefully we kick the shit out of the Rags tonight. Yeah, hopefully we do. 2,000 Devils, let's go. Jeremiah, let's go Devils. Let's go Devils from Daniel. QQ, I too had an issue in the back, but a cup of black coffee cleaned it right out. What? What's going on? Alice, my son's hockey practice is canceled, so I get to actually watch a whole game live this season. Let's go. Well, congratulations to you, Alice. Hopefully this is a good one, and hopefully you see a massive New Jersey Devils victory. Hockey girl, hello. G. Piercy, let's go Devils, baby. Bring the Instagram hockey. Oh, I am so excited for Instagram hockey. Nothing I enjoy more than watching Valaket cry on television. Wow. Jackhughes, 2 goals in each of the first 2 games against the Rangers this season. Hopefully he gets 1 or more tonight. And I'm excited to see what Valaket, what nonsense he brings tonight. It should be very interesting. But hoping for a big Devils win, and hopefully we win in the bouts. Hopefully there are some bouts. Some games like this have set up in the past to be kind of epic letdowns where there are no fights. And again, obviously I enjoy the game without the fights, but let's be real here. The fights add to the theater. This is Hudson River rivalry theater, and I want to see the bouts. What's going on, Mary? Hey, so excited for tonight's game. Well, that makes at least 2 of us, Mary. I am fired up for this one. Fired up, and hopefully the boys come out just throwing the body early. I think that is another thing, that's kind of been lost over this skid. Aside from the defense getting very sloppy and allowing great chances, the heavier edger, more violent play has kind of dissipated as well. They've gotten away from throwing as many hits, and hopefully everyone comes out like rabid dogs tonight and just lays the body, because my man Paul Cotter is. I'm going to predict Paul Cotter with minimum 5 hits tonight. John Mick, Igor will be rusty. Must jump on him right away. Yeah, I mean, anytime a guy misses some extended period of time, it does take a little bit of time for them to kind of work back into game rhythm, and hopefully he's a little rusty, and we just start chucking rubber at him early on and, make him work. make him get a little shaky, maybe get some rebounds, some dirty tips. I hope he gets lit up. I would love to see him chased in his own building. That would be phenomenal. That would be like my third kind of wish for the game, aside from obviously a big win and the the fisticuffs. I would like to see Shesterkin lit up, personally. Mary, what was Igor's injury? I think they called it a lower body injury. All these teams are very vague. No one wants to tell you exactly what's wrong. And they say lower body injury, so it could have been anything. Could have been anything. Fuzzy, Igor has a club foot. Needs to get it looked at. What's going on, Jared? The boys are getting this game tonight. I'm still holding to my prediction of season sweep on the Rags. Well, tonight's game 3. If they could get it done tonight, they're almost there. I would love to see it. Rich Reynolds, is the Rangers' new pickup from the Kings, Arthur Kaliev, playing? I'm not sure. I didn't even see their full lineup. I just saw that Rempe was in. Let's see. He's not in the projected lineup on NHL.com, but that really means nothing. He could be in there, but maybe. Oh, no, he is in the projected lineup, playing on the third line. We might see. Well, probably will see him on that third line tonight. Phil McCrevis, pregame Jeffrey. Let's go. John Fay, we need solid defense tonight. Yeah, the defense really has to tighten up. That whole West Coast trip was just very, very substandard or, not acceptable defense. Just way too many chances against. And honestly, Markstrom hopefully never has to play as good as he did in that Kraken game ever again, because if he does, then that means something went wrong in front of him. And certainly against the Kraken, a lot went wrong in front of him. Breakaways, 2-on-1s, just guys getting way too clean of looks. And Markey bailed him out. Hopefully he doesn't have to do that, but it's nice to know that when called upon, he is capable of stealing games. And that one I would say is that was just a heist of epic proportions with the stakes being what they were, to end a 4-game slide going into the Ranger game. I mean, I can't imagine, how not a lot, but the psyche of the team now, if they had lost that Kraken game and were on a 5-game skid heading into the Garden, and how much more ammo does that give the Rangers? It was great game by Markey overall. Hopefully the boys look a lot better in front of him tonight, and hopefully he just continues to play like the monster that he has been, and especially that last game. Keeping up with the Devils, we should be winning this one, but even against a team like the Rangers, no easy wins in the NHL. There is no easy wins in this league whatsoever. I've been preaching that for months. Even the so-called bad teams can win, and the Rangers have skill guys. And now Shesterkin's back. Again, he has had his struggles on the season, but he's an X factor as well. He's capable of stealing games, and hopefully we can get to him early. A big, the obvious kind of elephant in the room for the Devils for a lot of these games is, can they get the first goal? Most of the time, the games play out very differently, or at least large chunks of the game play out differently when the Devils have the lead versus when they're chasing. First goal, as always, is super critical tonight. And hopefully the Devils can find a way to get on the board first. John Fay agreed it should be obvious that no easy wins come in this league. Rabid monkeypox, go Devils. Keeping up with the Devils, Igor may get a back injury from carrying his team. He carried them in the playoffs for sure. And it is crazy how they've fallen from, a President's Trophy winning team to what they've become right now. But like I said, there's still half a season left. I'm not digging their grave just yet, even though a lot of people, including their own fans, are. They're only 4 points out. I mean, any little win streak of any kind will put them right back in the mix. Valas, Devils are rumored to be on Jake Evans' trade as a hauler replacement to improve our bottom 6 position. What a joke. I mean, listen, it's a bottom 6 guy. Do I think he could help? Yes. Do I think he's moving the needle dramatically? No, but I don't think there's many bottom 6 guys that you would look at and go, oh, wow, we're exponentially better now as a result of getting this guy. I mean, you're talking about bottom 6 guys. with that being said, I've been hearing the Taylor Hall stuff, and who knows if it's just based on conjecture, if there's any real truth to it. But at first, I was firmly against, reacquiring Taylor Hall. But if they're gonna let him go for like a 3rd round pick or something like that, and especially if they're willing to retain salary, I would take a gamble on him, assuming that he was in good spirits and wanted to join the team. I do think as he's gotten a little bit older, it does seem like he's calmed down and matured a little bit. I mean, he was on this team quite a while ago. And, things change over time. He's played on some bad teams, and he might be very receptive or excited to rejoin the New Jersey Devils. And if that is the case, and if after talking to him, Fitz and, the other powers that be believe that he's, not going to be a locker room cancer of any kind and just kind of mix in with the guys we have here, I would be all for getting Taylor Hall back at the right price for the push. But we'll see how that plays out as well. I'm sure there'll be some other teams, looking for his services. Traveling Devil, what's going on? 4-point night for Jack coming up. Ooh, would love to see a 4-pointer out of Jack. Would love to see a 4-pointer out of Jack. Jared, Jack has been on against his team. I feel another good game is in store tonight. I hope so. Jordan Hope, hopefully Jack can pull a hat trick tonight. Let's really do some embarrassing tonight. Oh, man. A hat trick would be the pinnacle of Instagram hockey. That is Instagram hockey at its highest level. Rabid monkeypox, everyone needs to hit someone every shift. That should be the motto every game. Play playoff hockey for 60 minutes every single night. Now, obviously, it's very physically taxing, physically grueling. And like I've mentioned before, it is not second nature to a lot of guys on this roster, unfortunately. They're being forced to do it. There's guys like Paul Cotter that they're just dogs. They just want to hit people. They thoroughly enjoy it. A lot of these guys, you could tell they don't enjoy it. And so it's something that they are slowly becoming more comfortable with it, but it's something they have to think to do and really work at it. Whereas, Nason and Cotter, guys like that, Dylan, it's second nature, and they're doing it without even thinking about it. Doug, thoughts on trade rumors involving Jake Evans on the Habs would make a great bottom 6 center depth. I just said I think it could help, but, that move alone I don't think is moving the needle dramatically. And I'm curious to see how Dowling looks on that third line tonight. I thought he looks pretty damn good. That last game against the Kraken, the third line had some nice ozone possession time, brought some energy, nice little forecheck. Dowling has proven to be a serviceable player. He really has. Now, is he lighting up the scoreboard? Absolutely not. But when you watch him, are you saying, oh my God, this guy's trash, get him out of there? No. And, given that he started off in Utica and then came up to the fourth line, and now with the Halla injuries on the third line, I mean, what more can you ask of the guy? Just don't stick out in a negative way, and that's a contribution in itself. Meadowlander. That's a funny picture you got there. The middle finger with the 3 cup rings. Rags defense struggling. Heavy forecheck will do it. Let's go. I'm hoping to see heavy forecheck. I'm hoping to see just open ice hits. I am hoping to see all of it. All of it, and obviously the fisticuffs. Ryan, Igor injury was PTSD from Jack Hughes. Mason, opinion on MSG networks and optimum crap. So I have the streaming stuff, so it doesn't affect me, but I've been kind of watching it from afar. And this is all just another, the latest chapter of money and corporate greed screwing over the fans. And it's unfortunate. We've seen this stuff before. The NHL and hockey teams in general should be doing everything in their power to make hockey as accessible as possible to the fans. They are clearly the 4th major sport in America and have been forever. And if you ever want to grow the sport and increase popularity, that doesn't come with putting up all these barriers and doing all this bullshit that makes it hard to watch games. Make the games as accessible to the public as possible. I hate when I see stuff like this. It's unfortunate. I've heard the Gotham app is a complete debacle nightmare. And, hockey, in my opinion, in terms of marketing and all this kind of stuff, they've been terrible for a long time. When you're the 4th major sport and you're desperately looking to increase ratings, increase everything across the board, you must go above and beyond, go the extra mile to cater to your customers and potential new viewers of the sport. And this sort of stuff just leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth and doesn't help out anybody. But it's another power struggle, a struggle for money. We'll see how it all plays out. But like I've said in one of the past streams, sometimes you guys got to just sail the high seas, if you know what I mean, to watch the games. Keep it up with the Devils. Hughes better set out to embarrass Shesterkin tonight. Blue Figs. Oh, yeah, it's on. Rumble at the Garden, Return of the Rempire. And with Igor back, you guys are toast. Go suck off Dolan's square ass. I don't know who that's addressed to. Keep it up, the Devils. Come on. Where did that record defense go? The one that had 12 shots against the Rangers and 12 shots the game before against Crosby and the Pens. In back-to-back 12-shot shutouts for Jacob Markstrom. What a beautiful little streak for that defense and Markstrom, and they need to come back tonight badly. John, keep it up, the Devils. Only God knows where that defense went and if we will ever see them again. I think we will. I think we will in time. Whatever happened on that holiday break was tragic. It truly was a tragic holiday break. The boys came back and they did win that first game against the Canes at home, but then they went on to lose 4 in a row, and some of them were just, ugly performances. Rob, old man Rob here, got a case of Yingling and a positive vibe for tonight. 2 bright spots, 1 Lazar goal in Great Jersey. After this, looking like an interesting schedule coming. Oh, the schedule gets unforgiving, but the reality is, I feel like the New Jersey Devils step up to the challenge, that they do, in fact, play better against the so-called better teams of the league. But after tonight, hosting the Tampa Bay Lightning at home Saturday night, then 2 days off, hosting the defending Cup champs, the Panthers, on Tuesday night at home. Obviously, the Panthers are going to be looking for some revenge. The Devils beat them in back-to-back games on their home rink. They're going to be coming to the Prudential looking to, take some points away from us. And then on Thursday the 16th at Toronto against the Maple Leafs. And then back home Saturday the 18th versus the Flyers. And so on and so forth. But when you're talking Bolts, Leafs, Panthers for a 3-game stretch, it's going to be a good test. It's going to be a good test to see what these boys do against some of the better teams in the conference for sure. Nick, this game is huge. If we win, I think it brings the momentum we saw before the holiday break, but if we lose, that'll hurt us in the near future. It does seem like, I'm not going to say this is not a make or break game by any means, but I do think that there could be a somewhat of a ripple effect after the game, right? So we just got off the 4-game skid, winning this one in a big rivalry game. Hopefully we win in a dominating fashion and we, smash some faces in. But I do think that this could be just what the doctor ordered to kind of snap them out of the funk, because even though they beat the Kraken game, in my opinion, they did not play well overall, especially defensively. Just all the quality chances against that Markstrom had to make. If you're relying on a goalie to make that quantity and that quality of saves throughout a game, you're not going to win most nights. I mean, let's be honest. If most other goalies in the league are in net for the Devils that night, 90% of them are losing the game, if not more. I mean, that's how good and how often the chances were for the Kraken. But I do agree that with a strong outing, if they play better tonight, it kind of could be the springboard into righting the ship fully after the horrifying stuff we've seen after the holiday break. Dr. Brian, are you staying live during the game? Would be sick live commentary. No. People have asked about that. Maybe I'll do 1 or 2 games. It's just too hard. My feed is typically like 10 to 20 seconds, it seems like, behind some people. And every time I'm in the chat, a lot of people are in the post-game chat during the game. And it ruins it for me sometimes. I'll peek at it and, I'll know about a goal for or against, like, before I see it on the TV, and I just don't like that. Not to mention, I like to be locked in. I don't know. I would be distracted, but I may do 1 or 2. It seems like some people are interested in it, but logistically kind of rough. Fuzzy. Yeah, Igor has to wear 6-inch platform shoes because one leg is shorter than the other. Hall is poison. So I used to think that. I don't know if he is or I don't know if he isn't. I think, before making a deal for him that Fitzy could talk to him and kind of get a gauge of where his head's at. I wouldn't blindly trade for him. Definitely not. Because of the past history and some of the other stuff, I definitely would want to kind of get a read on what he's thinking, his behavior and things like that before making a trade. But if it seemed like his head was in the right place and his attitude was positive, for a 3rd-round pick, I think it's a trade I would do. At first, I was adamantly against it a few weeks ago when his name first started coming up. But after thinking about it, I mean, how would he not be an improvement over some of the forwards we have? Just think about it. It's not possible. It's not possible. He's definitely an improvement over some guys. Val, Hall is finished. Maybe, but maybe not. I'm willing to gamble for a cheap price. A guy like him in your bottom 6 could be interesting. Keep it up with the Devils. I think a guy like Hall wants to come here. Said after the Winter Classic he wants to play in a contender, and some would say the Devils are a contender. I would say that most would say the Devils are a contender. Second place in the division. Obviously, the luster of the Devils, the shine, if you will, may have gotten a little duller after that 4-game skid. But a lot of people have been praising the Devils. They've been getting props from different media outlets. And I do think that you would have to put them in, the top 10 teams in the league at the moment, 10-ish teams. So while there could be, more desirable teams that seem like they are more equipped to win a cup this year, the Devils are right there in the conversation as well. And now it comes down to a lot of the other stuff. If the Blackhawks get approached by several teams, do they talk to Hall and kind of see what he would prefer, assuming that the return for them would be similar from every team? Obviously, if the Blackhawks are in a position where one team is making a substantially better offer than the others, they're going to say, I don't give a shit what you want, Taylor Hall. You're going here. But let me just check. Does he have any no trade before let's see what his exact kind of situation is? He does have some sort of no trade clause. But I assume if he's, any contender, he would probably gladly waive it. Obviously, why would you want to continue to, rot on a team like Chicago while, if you're a young kid like Bedard or something, it's like, okay, I'm going to be part of building something, and hopefully be on a good team in the future. But that's obviously not where Taylor Hall is at in his career. He's, towards the very end, has never won a cup, played on a shitload of terrible teams in Edmonton, was on some bad Devils teams. I think he was on a bad Sabres team. I mean, shit, I think the only good team he ever played on was probably the Bruins. Yeah, he was also on the Coyotes for a minute, I think. Yeah, wow. He kind of bounced around after the Devils. Val, Fitzgerald must go if he brings Hall. I think that's a little extreme. Titanium Man says no on Hall. Kevin, Rempe is going to be looking to take out a top 6 Devil. I firmly disagree. I believe the Department of Player Safety, George Paros, and whoever else is working over there, when they were talking to him about this latest 8-game suspension, you could tell. I don't know if anyone saw it, but Rempe had a media availability yesterday. He talked to the media, and he looked shook. My man looked scared. He knows that he's one more of these dirty hits away from losing, A, a shitload of money, and B, a ton of playing time. The next time he gets hit for something suspension worthy, it's going to be a 20-25 gamer easily, which is a huge chunk of his money. And again, that could be the kind of death blow to his NHL career aspirations. So I do think he's going to be playing much more reserved because of what is on the line. Very high stakes for Matt Rempe right now. He must be very cautious with the way he plays and the hits he throws. John, keep it up with the Devils. Some see us as a contender and some see us as frauds. Either way, love us or hate us. How are you going to call us frauds? It's pretty wild. For anyone to call the Devils frauds, I would say, what is fraudulent? They're second in probably the second best division in hockey. Kevin, we need to have to limit them to less than 15 shots. That's obviously asking for a lot. But, that 20-22 mark, I think, would be acceptable. Asking to keep it, at 15 or below that's a very tall order against almost any team, honestly. The weightlifting lab, oh my God, must get Hall. Blue Figs, your sheriff isn't going to stop Rempe. He's out for blood. Mac is lucky the refs held Rempe back the first time. And after the brawl, I'm sure he'll be hiding again. Oh, look at this. Blue Figs. McDermott is not hiding from Matt Rempe whatsoever. And hopefully, if McDermott, challenges him, that Rempe takes on the challenge and doesn't hide, like we've seen in some other games. Titanium Man, I hope McDermott is in the lineup tonight. He is, in fact, in the lineup tonight. John Fay, I'd like to take Hall back, but is he willing to come back to the Devils? And if we do get him back, how will he impact this team depth-wise and in general? He's going to push somebody out of the lineup. You'd think, right? No matter where he slots, people are going to get pushed down, which leaves someone to get pushed out. I could see him potentially even, I don't know. I feel like he'd be a good third liner for the Devils. and they could experiment with him with some of the top 6 guys in different scenarios as well, depending on how he looks when he gets here. I haven't seen too much of him. I know his numbers aren't great, but some of his, instincts are still there. I think he had a really nice blast. Was it in the Winter Classic? I saw a goal of his recently that was pretty nice. But, could he kind of find the fountain of youth for a playoff run on a team like the Devils? I think it's possible. And for a 3rd round pick or something like that, I would take the gamble. Ryan, I hate the MSG and Optimum scenario. I have to watch on Fubo now, and it's delayed always by 30 seconds. Yeah, that's where I'm at. So I have Fubo, and when I'm in the chat, people ruin it for me. So that's another reason why I wouldn't really want to do the live thing, aside from the logistics and the whole hassle of it. Rich Reynolds, McDermott needs to score tonight on a breakaway coming out of the box after pounding Rempe. That would be something. The New York nobody, let's hear a hot take prediction, can be anything. I guess one that, that if there's any Ranger fans in here besides yourself that would like to hear is, I guess a hot take prediction would be that the New York Rangers make the playoffs. I mean, I obviously am a firm believer in solid goaltending. The Rangers have Shesterkin, a very elite goaltender. He struggled this year. I don't think he's going to struggle forever. And I just think that they have too many, at least, maybe not elite players, but too many good players with Shesterkin to not make the playoffs. Especially when some of the other bottom feeders in the division aren't very good. You should be able to beat up on a lot of those teams. So I guess my hot take prediction would be the Rangers make the playoffs. New York, nobody. John, time to set the rags on fire tonight. Joel Reyes, I hate Rempe. Natural Canopy, Matt Rempe won't be shining my shoes after this one. He's a marked man. Stickfigs, even if it's not live commentary, recording reactions for some games like how SAP Sports does for the Rangers would be a sick video, maybe for the playoffs. I've thought about all this stuff, but do people really want to see that? I mean, I'm shocked that people want to even see this, if I'm being perfectly honest. I'm surprised that people want to, do these lives and the game recaps, and I enjoy all of it. But I feel like now reactions that are not live seem like a stretch. I could be wrong. Oh, shit, I hit the thing. Hopefully we're still alive here. Natural Canopy, I've heard Kyle Palms and Taylor Hall. No, keep those 2 a-holes off this roster. Is Palms one? I don't think he was. I just don't know if he's the right fit or the type of guy I'm looking for. I want heavier, edgier, more violent guys. I want big bodies that can play physically in the playoffs. The playoffs are a war. You saw it last season. It was just absolute warfare. And I don't know that, could Palmieri work out? Maybe, but I feel like there could be better options out there. Zupamaki, what can we get for Hamilton if any team is interested in him? I don't think they're going to even remotely consider trading Dougie this year. Now, with that being said, I don't think he's here till the end of his contract, but I do not think this is going to be the year they trade him. I think we go through at least one more playoff run with him. And hopefully, he shows a little bit more defensively. He's definitely contributing a ton offensively. And at some point, I do think, even if you have to retain a little bit or sweeten the pot with, maybe a prospect or a pick of some kind, I do think there will be a market for him, assuming he doesn't just fall off a cliff entirely. QQ, how is $6 million Hall's cap hit a cheap price, though? I'm talking about the trade return. And I did say, ideally, I'd like there to be retention and a good amount of it. If there is no retention, then I probably look at, well, for, like you said, for $6 million cap hit, what else is out there that's better? But with that being said, you also have to look at what the Devils are going to have to send aside from the cap hit. So if you're talking about Taylor Hall for, let's just say, hypothetically, a 3rd rounder, yeah, it's a $6 million cap hit at the full hit if they don't retain, but only a 3rd rounder. Whereas I think there's some other guys that would come with a $6 million cap hit where you might have to give up real assets to get them over, whether that's, a 1st round pick, a 2nd round pick, maybe a 2nd rounder and a prospect. So there's a lot of different things at play, but, let's just say hypothetically at 50% retention, Taylor Hall at $3 million for a 3rd round pick, I would be all over that deal for sure. Des fan Josh, I'd also consider bringing Maroon back. It's funny you mentioned that. I haven't seen a lot of him as of late. I wanted him a few years ago. I do feel like maybe now that at this juncture that it might be too late for that, but I always liked his game. Definitely a heavier, edgier, more violent gentleman. Looks like, and from what I've seen and read about him, like the ultimate locker room guy. But I don't know if that's going to be enough in terms of what this team needs to truly fix the bottom 6. And I feel like we really need just a little bit more, speed and offensive ability than what Pat Maroon would bring at this point. But I did want him for a while after he left the Devils. I always thought bringing him back would have been cool, but I do think the window has closed for that to make sense. Fifey Lane, gonna go find that Rempe media availability stat. Need to see this dude too scared to make another shitty hit. Yeah, it was in the it was from yesterday. I think it's on the Rangers YouTube or somewhere. You could find it. He talked to the media for a good while, and he looked pretty damn shook. He looked pretty shook. SST, I'd rather get Blake Wheeler as a bottom six player. Matt Olivier, that is all. Gerald, can't wait to see Steelman break into their lineup. Jay Snow, what's going on? Joel Reyes, Markey going for that shutout. Oh, that would be something. Would absolutely love to see a Markey shutout tonight. Seth, bring back my boy Kyle Palmieri. A lot of people love the reunions, and I'm going to say, I just can't fall into the reunion tour. Some of them I think in the past that people have rumored have made sense. Like last year, I thought Adam Henrique could have made sense. And over the years, we've seen tons of reunions, and it seems like our fan base is in love with the reunions of any kind. I don't think all reunions are good reunions, and in my opinion, I don't think the Palmieri one would be great. I just think there's other options out there that would be better suited to the team, but we'll see. Frank, in MLB, a suspended player cannot be replaced on the roster. The team plays one man short on the roster. Is that the case in the NHL? If so, his own team would be telling him to tone it down a tad. No, that's not how it works in hockey. QQ, Rempe's done more interviews than actual games played. He's more of a male enhancement supplement for blue-balled grandpas than anything. Man, he brings the energy. He fires up the crowd. And he can throw some big hits. Now, whether he gets thrown out of the game and suspended for them is another issue. But if he ever finds out how to play within the rules and use that body to smash people and not get dumb penalties and suspensions, he could be a weapon. The New York Nobody, here's my hot takes. Rempe won't fight. I wouldn't be surprised by that. But he will get 6+ minutes of time on ice. I think we see a goal from Mercer again. Also think Kalia pots one in his debut. Also going to say both teams score at least 3. Interesting. Stickfigs telling Fifey Lane it's on the New York Rangers YouTube channel. Immediate availability after practice on 1-8. He looks like a man that knows he's walking on thin ice from his life changing for the worse. Definitely shook. John Fay, the next time Rempe gets caught for something, it's going to cost him big time money and possibly his career. 100% agree. Emily, if Rempe comes to the Devils, I will kill myself. Don't worry, that's not going to happen. But if you're being honest with yourself, Emily, you wouldn't like to see Rempe as a Devil? I would. I definitely would. Jason, I want to see Big Mac dummy Rempe right off the face-off. Well, let's see now. Let's see how it plays out because the visiting team puts their guys out first. Let's see if General Keefe will send out Big Mac to start the game. And if he does, that's an act of war. And I would love to see it. I don't know if Keefe is a wartime general. It seems to me that he's not. But he will earn even more respect in my book if he puts McDermott out there to start the game. Because if he puts McDermott out there to start the game, that's like shots fired. That's like, what's up? What's up? What you got? Putting him out there would be great. I'm curious to see. Jay Snow, no way I'm paying $6 million for Hall. Yeah, I said ideally with retention. Devil's Wolf, I'd love to see Big Mac get a Gordie Howe hat trick. Yeah, I would love to see that too. I'd be happy with any one of the 3 components of the Gordie Howe hat trick. For those that don't know, the Gordie Howe hat trick is scoring a goal, getting an assist, and having a fight all within the same game. Goal, assist, fight, the Gordie Howe hat trick. And I'd be ecstatic for any one of the 3 from McDermott. If he gets in a fight, I'll be ecstatic. If he gets a goal, I'd love it. If he gets an assist, I'd be super jacked up as well. To do all 3 would be phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. But I know for sure there's going to be a party on this channel for Big Mac's first goal whenever that comes. Hopefully sooner than later. Jay Snow, Rangers are only 4 points out. I think they get in the playoffs too. Yeah. I mean, obviously a lot of teams between them and the second wild card, but I think, at some point they're going to heat up at some point, go on a little run, and it's going to put them right back in the mix. I don't want the retread. QQ Palms better than Hall all day long. Natural Canopy, I'm sorry, but Palms is too slow. Not at all meant for this team in their current situation. Natural Canopy, Matt Rempe meets the dark room tonight. Jay Snow, Dougie's offense has disappeared again and his defense is getting worse. The whole team's been struggling in all aspects. Let's just get over the PTSD of that West Coast trip and that 4-game losing streak, and let's see if these boys could get back to the team we saw, heading into the holiday break. Fifey Lane, playoffs last season were brutal. Every top player needed at least 2 bodyguards and lots of shitty ref calls. The playoffs are war, guys. Playoffs are war. And Brad Marchand in the playoffs, after one of the games in the locker room, straight up told the media, which I was so happy that he was this blunt and direct. He said, guys are going out there. He said, this is the playoffs. Guys are going out there looking to knock guys out of the game. Straight up told the media that. A lot of people, I think, live in this world where, that's not the mindset, and that, it's just a game. No, for the teams that really want to win, this is life and death. And when you go out there and you're looking to smash guys out of the game, that's all you need to know. Heavier, edgier, more violent. That's what's going to win. And especially in the playoffs, and the Panthers showed it. Back-to-back Cup Finals appearances and finally won last season. Maroon looks shot now. QQ, 8 goals in 40 games on 11% shooting. How is that better than average for $6 million? Well, I don't want to take on the full cap hit. I said that. With that being said, regardless of that, are you going to tell me that Taylor Hall is not better than some of the forwards on the Devils now? Or at least has the potential to be better than some of the forwards on the Devils now? If you say no, I'm going to say you're nuts. Who's your least favorite Ranger? Keandre Miller, for sure. Yo, Holmes, Pat Maroon had a hell of a cup of coffee in NJ before his cup runs. Yes, he did. Blue Figs, just hope that Rempe will play mercifully like your guy Ace is predicting. Otherwise, Instagram hockey may mean a sudden halt. Natural Canopy, Palms is a joke. Guy's a plug. Only scores on odd man rushes, power plays. Keep old teammates from the dark days off the roster. I can see that point of view. Jay Snow, we need a gritty, hard-nosed guy. That's the type of guy I would prefer to get. Heavier, edgier, more violent, preferably some size. Another guy that makes it difficult to play against. Another guy in the mold of a Paul Cotter type. Natural Canopy, Blue Figs. Seabone says no Parm or Hall. Please stop it. Noah, running with the Devils beer league team. I want to see Ace throw hands. Oh boy. It's been a while. I want Brock Nelson. I don't know why everyone's getting on this Brock Nelson train. I would like Brock Nelson too. The reality is Lou Lamoriello is not doing a trade with the Devils, I don't think. Unless they offered a vast overpayment more than any other team would offer. I can't see it. Furthermore, I don't even know why everyone believes the Islanders are ready to move on from Brock Nelson. I mean, he's a very good player. I think he had 3 30-goal seasons in a row. I mean, what makes everyone believe that the Islanders are going to be like, you know what? Screw Brock Nelson. We don't need him. Furthermore, if they were to trade Brock Nelson, what do you guys think, the return for that would be? It would be substantial. And I'm definitely not looking to, get rid of any of our massive assets in terms of prospects for a guy like Brock Nelson. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, we could trade Seamus Casey or Shimo Nemitz. I think in a lot of conversations with other GMs to try to improve this roster, a lot of GMs are going to be gunning for those guys. Why wouldn't they? I mean, Seamus Casey showed in the league this year in his brief cameo as a Devil to start the season that he is going to be a player. The kid's got wheels on him, great vision, great hockey sense, nasty shot, and he could be, a future franchise-type defenseman for a team. I'm hoping it's the Devils, but other GMs are going to be looking for him or a guy like Nemitz. And again, I do believe Nemitz is going to be a very good defenseman in this league. I don't know if it'll be with the Devils or not. I just don't see how Nemitz and Seamus Casey both crack the Devils lineup anytime soon. I think fitting one of them is going to be challenging enough. You're going to have to make a move, to make a spot for one of them. I do believe in my heart of hearts now that Jonathan Kovacevic will remain a New Jersey Devil. I'm skeptical, but I am hopeful and optimistic that Fitz will get it done. I do think Kovacevic likes it here. Hopefully he sees the opportunity, and hopefully he does not hit unrestricted free agency on July 1st, because teams will be lining up to drive the truckload of money at him. But teams are going to be asking for a lot at the deadline, especially. And I am not looking to part with a guy like Casey or Nemitz for something along the lines of Brock Nelson, not just him specifically, but any guy that you would kind of group in with him. I personally am not looking up to give up on one of those kids for that. If I'm trading one of those guys, I want it to be something monumental. And again, I'm just going to refer to the hypothetical, which I believe is dead and gone now. But I'd be looking for something like, a true game changer like a Brady Tkachuk. Now, with the Senators playing the way they are, I think that pipe dream died for me. But I would want it to be something very, very substantial and not just like a Brock Nelson. Doesn't move the needle enough for me. Now, do I think he can help the team? Absolutely. But again, I'm not parting with, gemstone prospects to get a guy like him. Eric 13 Ace, is there a certain site or place where you get items to the collection? Not really. I'm all over the place, man. Auction houses, websites. I'm worldwide. I'm all over. I got stuff coming in from other countries, digging up stuff. What types of stuff are you looking for specifically, Eric? Maybe if you could give me a little bit of a parameter, I could kind of guide you a little bit better. QQ Parm is a good call. Let's see. Ray Ferraro as a Devil. Man, Ray Ferraro on ESPN, I remember back in the day. Chicken Parm. He had a little stint on the Thrashers too, I think. Possibly with Kovalchuk. Metalander. Palmieri is the scrappiest of the reunion ideas. He would best fit heavier, edgy, more violent. Yeah, but not good enough for me. Oh, Phil McCrevis, thank you for mentioning this. I totally forgot. I was up till some ridiculous time into the wee hours of the morning. Cam and Strick, one of my favorite hockey podcasts. They had the great Martin Brodeur on the program. I just dropped the link in the description. Phil, that slipped my mind. Thank you for mentioning that. They talk about everything. Well, not everything. They talk about a lot. But I love Cam and Strick. And when obviously you get the GOAT on the program, he gives a lot of good insight into current day goaltending. They didn't really talk too much about specific career things, which is always kind of, when I watch interviews, most of the time they're not really from a Devils centric point of view, which is why I thoroughly enjoy doing the interviews. And if you haven't heard of this already, shameless plug, tomorrow at 7 p.m., my interview with Jamie Langenbrunner premieres at 7 o'clock on the channel. I will drop the link as well. But I always want to know very specific things from their Devil days, right? And while Marty essentially was a career Devil, he had that little stint in the blue on St. Louis, which is still so bizarre to see the photos of Marty as a Blue. It should have never happened, honestly. And I wish it never happened, but it is what it is. But, these guys do interviews and they're always like very kind of all over the place. And I enjoy watching those too, but the stuff I really want to know is like from specific moments in time and games and things like that. But he gives a lot of good insight in the interview with Cam and Strick about current goaltending, the workload of goaltenders, positional play. He tells a hilarious story about running into Patrick Waugh at a golf course in Florida. I'm trying to think what else. He talks a little bit more in depth about the whole way, how he became a St. Louis Blue. Talks about Markstrom. Yeah, really good interview. I dropped the link in the description. Check that out. But I also dropped the link in the description for my interview with Jamie Langenbrunner. Check that out. It premieres tomorrow at 7 p.m. Doug, lots of Igor chants tonight, please. Oh, I'd love to drown them out in their own building. Keeping up with the Devils. Remember that brawl a few months ago? Are you talking about the one in April? Rempe is as replaced as Richie Aprile. Guy got killed by my cousin. Reals. Jason, no, Devils, 2 offense issues. They're a bad finishing team. They're a bad ozone possession team. They need guys who could win board battles. Yeah. No, I agree. It seems like as of late, we're not finishing our chances. I mean, shit, Timo could have had a hat trick the other night, it seems. And they're just not going in from it. I would love to see Timo time come out tonight at the Garden. Would love to see Timo get one or multiple. Natural Canopy, bring on the Rags. Emily, maybe Devils could actually sharpen his skills if we had Rempe, but still would not want to see him on our team. His play is embarrassing. It is right now. I do believe there is hope for him, but we'll see how it plays out. Blue Figs, no shot. You guys get Rempe, but no doubt everyone at least wants a guy like Rempe on their team. Truly a blue shirt treasure. Val S., I want Carrie Underwood on the Devils. Not now, John. Curtis McDermott. First of all, it's McDermott, not McDermott. Where do you people come up with this? MacDermid is the toughest player in the NHL. Trash take. I'm just quoting Mike Rupp, baby. Former Devil and former Ranger. NHL Network analyst currently. Last season, he said Curtis McDermott is the toughest man in the National, and I tend to agree with him. Zupamaki, Cotter, and Nason are the keys for tonight's game. Need them to be sharp and disciplined, and they got to lay the body. Lay the absolute body. Stick figs, I think we are starting to see the resurgence of Cotter. Goals in back-to-back games, even though he whiffed on that one against the Kraken. He totally whiffed on the puck, and it got lucky. Great to see Cotter scoring in back-to-back games, and hopefully he starts to heat up like we saw early on in the season. Obviously, he struggled a bit as of late, but Cotter's a beast. I absolutely love Paul Cotter. Top 5 or so in the league in hits. Heavier, edgier, more violent, and he has the silky mitts. The silkiest of mitts. We saw that little inside-outside drag move before against, was that in the Sharks game? Just sick goals. The New York nobody. Miller is our least favorite, too. Richard Zimmer, as I await your sit-down with Jamie Ace, what one player would you want in a trade just as epic as Jamie's was? We gave up a lot for him, and it worked. Yeah, well, I mean, that was a huge trade at the time. Randy McKay and Arnott going to Dallas for Langenbrunner and Joe Nieuwendyk. It's a very good question. I'd have to think about it. That's a good one. I don't have an immediate answer because the guys that come to mind are more like unrealistic star-ish type players. I'm trying to think of a realistic one. All the names that come to mind immediately are very unrealistic. Sam Bennett, but I mean I think that's very unrealistic as well. I'm gonna have to come back to that one, Richard. That's a good one. If I don't remind me in the post game, if I don't remember to come back to it now, I'm gonna think about that one tonight. That's a very good one. Emily, I want to see Rempe get humbled tonight. Need McDermott after him again. I hope we see it. Little throwdown at center ice. Stick figs. Good thing Miller sucks this season. A little happy that Mika is off to an okay start to 2025 because as a guy, he's the only one I like. I hate them all. Natural Canopy. Ace would dangle me. I'm not going to lie, especially after a night at the Bing. BC, I don't want to give up a massive overpay for Brock Nelson, though. It would take a first in Casey. Yeah, I'm not even at that price, BC. I am beyond not interested. That is the easiest no. Or I should say the easiest hell no trade proposal of all time. That is not even one to even think about. Captain Mafunga, rumors the Devils are interested in Jake Evans. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit before. I think he can help. Do I think he moves the needle tremendously? No. LJ Hall on a team that is winning could really change things up. I take him and Maroon to switch things up and add some edge, assuming it's on the cheap. I'm kind of on the fence about Maroon. Again, I haven't seen a lot of him this year, but he was a guy for the past couple seasons. Me and my buddy Steve the Maniac always liked Maroon even when we got him. Big Rig is just, how do you not love him? He's such a personality. He's a big dude, throws the body, but I don't know. Does he have enough to give us what we would need as a fourth liner? I just think like you need to have a little more speed, a little more something, but I could be wrong. But I always liked Maroon as a player, and I was jacked when we got him. BC, no way in hell do we trade Nemitz or Casey for a 34-year-old Nelson. I agree. I could see Hall return. John, I will love Dougie Gilmour to the day I die for what he did for the Devils when he came over. That's the kind of guy we need. Yeah. Already basically a Hall of Famer before he became a Devil. I freaked out when we got Gilmour as well. Always loved Killer. Number 93. Unfortunately, he was, in those years between the two cups, and we never went on a deep run with him. But always loved Gilmour, and I'll always remember his time as a Devil for sure. Anytime, the Devils brought in one of those Hall of Fame guys, it always was memorable. Art needs to get rid of Hamilton to free some money, replace him with Casey. I think that could be potentially looked at after this season. I could also see maybe Siegenthaler being moved at some point. Obviously, because of the money, Dougie would probably be the preferable one. But again, everybody wants to, quickly say, oh, we don't need Dougie. Remember how bad this team looked when Dougie went down last year. He does a lot for the team. And yes, I understand he leaves a lot to be desired a lot of nights defensively. But he's on the ice for a lot of goals for the Devils. And we looked like a train wreck when he went down last season. I think people are very quick to forget that. Zubamaki, 127 watching, 27 legs. Come on, guys, hit the like button for Ace. I appreciate that. Yeah, hit the thumbs up for your boy. What if Tom calls Canucks for Quinn Hughes? These are the things I can't entertain. This is just Tom's not calling the Canucks for Quinn Hughes. Here's the deal with that. I do believe there is a world where when he's set to become a free agent, if he makes it clear to the Canucks that he wants to move on, then maybe he is traded to the Devils for something not crazy. But I'm assuming the Canucks are going to be in a playoff position every year. And so for me, at least with the Devils, being a Devils fan, and we're going to kind of be in this situation. Obviously, the player's different, but the Devils are going to be a playoff team this year. There is a chance that we lose Johnny Kovacevic to unrestricted free agency. And even with that being known, I am not cashing him in at the deadline. I am going on the playoff run with Johnny Kovacevic and hoping it all works out. I think the same thing could happen with the Canucks, assuming they're in the playoffs, which it seems like I don't know why I can't see a world where they wouldn't be, but it's possible. But assuming they're in a playoff position in his last year of his contract, they're probably not going to cash him in. They're going to go on one more final run with him. And I can see him trying to come to the Devils at that point. Why can't we get the great Martin Brodeur on this program? Hopefully one day. Hopefully one day that happens, and then I could retire. And then I could retire a happy man from the madness of online, whatever you want to call this. R. Eric, sign memorabilia, puck, sticks, or jerseys. Appreciate you, Ace. Yeah, for sign stuff, hold on, let me see. Yeah, for sign stuff, Fanatics is pretty good. They always have sales. Let me drop that link. Yeah, you use my Fanatics link there. I get some credit for that if you go through that link. So if you guys are looking for anything on Fanatics, click that link. It's also in the description of all the videos. But you could surf around on there. There's always good stuff on there. And like I said, there's always sales and coupon codes and stuff. So check out Fanatics. Manny 04 Langenbrunner was so clutch. So clutch. That 2003 playoff run from Jamie. That we don't win that cup in 03, I don't think, without Jamie Langenbrunner. And we probably don't win it without Jeff Friesen as well. Two tinkerings from the evil genius of Lou Lamoriello. But yeah, that interview with Jamie comes out tomorrow, 7 p.m. Hope to see some of you there in the premiere. I'll be in the chat. Jim Bean, Devils need to step on their throat today and start a new winning streak. Let's go, Devils. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Natural Canopy, Ace, you're my best man. I'm going to marry M at our parade in July. Doug, don't be dropping spoilers like that. Damn, I don't know. Is that in reference to the Marty interview? I'm a few minutes behind. I didn't give anything too much away. I'm going to be on the radio tonight. Is this game on the radio? It should be on the Devils Network. It's crazy that nothing is on like actual terrestrial radio. Like, can you put it on in your car on the radio? No. It's on online streaming radio. If you have the Devils app, you could hit the thing and you could listen to Matt and Chico. I'm so old school. I used to, I back in my day, you could just in the car or on the little boom box at home, you could go to the radio station and listen to it. As far as I know, the Devils haven't been on regular radio in years and years. Venom, I'm horrified of Rempe. What if he injures one of the Hugheses or Bratter? Not going to happen. He is playing like a castrated dog tonight. They chopped his thing off when he got that 8-game suspension. He is going to be shook. And hopefully he's not shook enough to fight, though. Jim, if Rempe goes headhunting on Nico or Jacqueline, the jaws of life to pry the team off that goon. It's not going to happen, guys. He got that 8 games. He's shook. Jay Snow, we got to get Brader and Jack going again. They're both on a goal drought. Yeah, I would like to see Peanut Butter and Jelly start firing again. For sure. It's been too long. And obviously their cold streak kind of coincided with the the team struggling. And hopefully we just bust out in every way imaginable tonight. Let's see Paul Allen's Rangers pregame stream. I have no idea what that is. Jay Snow I'd rather have Olivier than Big Mac. He's super tough and can actually chip in on offense. Okay. Stick Figs, usually I would rather the Devils play cleaner since we've been sent to the box a lot recently, but the New York power play is 17.8%, so I don't know if I'm worried for today at all. Still can't go to the box so much. Yeah, a lot of penalties. The refs have not been our friend. BC, the Newendijk got injured and didn't play in the playoffs. That sucked. That is incorrect, BC. Newendijk got injured in Game 6, I believe, of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Senators. So he played, the first 3 rounds and was injured late in Game 6. Played a shift or 2 in Game 7 in Ottawa and realized he was too hurt to go. He shut it down and he missed the finals. But he was there for the overwhelming majority of that playoff run. Louis, no one is going to give up a prospect and a top pick for Nelson. He's an unrestricted free agent and a pure rental. Yeah, I agree with you there, Louis. I think someone gives a first rounder though. And again, even if we had an abundance of first rounders, which we don't, because our first rounder from this year is going to Calgary in that Markstrom deal, I wouldn't even want to give up a first rounder for Brock Nelson if I'm being honest. I just think, if I'm going to give up a first rounder, I don't know. I think I would need more. But who knows? I just don't think the Devils are in a good position to buy a rental at the deadline for a first rounder. BC, Big Rig might be out of gas at this point. Hall would be solid, though. I do think there could be something there with Hall. I could be wrong. No, I'd rather have Big Rig than Tatar on the 4th line. Natural Canopy planning his honeymoon to the Maldives. Stick Figs, yeah, no stupid penalties, obviously, but I'm less afraid to take penalties against a team that has a 17.8% power play versus a team like 26. Yeah, hopefully we just play disciplined, and hopefully the refs give us some power plays tonight. No power plays against the Kraken is pretty wild. It's how clean these teams play against the Devils. SST said he'd be a better guest than the great Martin Brodeur. Yanni Gourde would be a good addition. Maybe he'd spark Palat too. I think there's going to be a lot of options out there for Fitzy to kind of navigate. Jason, the Devils have too many similar D-men. We need another puck-moving D-men besides Luke, or D-men are all super slow. You keep saying that. I don't think they're not speed demons, but I don't think they're quite as slow as you make it out to be, Jason. But with that being said, obviously, Seamus Casey is the next guy with wheels. And if I'm being honest, I've said this before, if it came down to it, if I could only keep Seamus Casey or Shimo Nemitz in the Devils organization, I would go with Seamus Casey because of the fact that he is a super kind of speedy, mobile, puck-moving defenseman, and obviously his offensive upside is there. And so, given what the Devils have on the blue line right now, it seems like that would be more of a need than Nemitz. But Nemitz could turn out to be a phenomenal two-way defender. But at the moment, I think I would go with Casey if I had to pick between one of them. 6:60 a.m. in the 90s. WFAN, baby. Rags I get, but why the nickname Broadway Blue Skirts? Because they refer to themselves as the Broadway Blue Shirts, Daniel. So obviously blue skirts is a very easy, play on blue shirts. Blue shirts, blue skirts. For Devil, I'd be curious if Rempe becomes a neutered dog out there. That's what I'm expecting to see. I'm 100% expecting a neutered dog. you're going to see maybe some hits out of him, but they're not going to be ones where he comes flying across the ice and lines a guy up and slams him through the glass. They're going to be probably more head on, shoulder. He's going to try to, shoulder to shoulder, maybe duck down a little bit so he's not smashing guys in the back of their heads with his shoulder because he's a giant. But he's definitely going to be nervous. They scared the ever-loving shit out of him in those hearings. And, I just hope it doesn't get in the way of him dropping the mitts with Curtis. LJ, def hype for the Jamie interview. Top 3 favorite NJ captain. Yeah, I love Jamie Langenbrunner, man. What a legend. An absolute throwback legend. I hope you guys enjoy the interview. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. premieres on the channel. It's a little bit over an hour long. It's about an hour and 5 minutes, hour and 9 minutes, something like that. He was great. What a great experience for me. And shout out to Jamie Langenbrunner. Absolutely the man. Get Scott Stevens on this broadcast. I would love to do that too. Listen, there's tons of guys I would love to get. And slowly I'm going to get a lot of them. But some of them are going to be harder than others, obviously. Stevens, I think, would be in the very hard category. Where's Nemitz? Nemitz is in Utica. Get my GOAT ex-Devil Brendan Smith on this broadcast. Cam Jansen is a good interview. Yeah, I love Cam. Loved Cam when he was here, and I love what he's been doing in his post-playing career. Cam and Strick, again, one of my favorite hockey pods. They get tons of great guests on, and they had Marty on yesterday. Great interview. Check it out at Cam and Strick. Scanning these comments here. Seth, we need Randy McKay players. Yeah. Easier said than done, but absolutely. Randy McKay, another absolute Devils legend. 1/3 of that crash line. It's hard to see behind me here, but he's in the middle of that crash line photo. Another guy that could do it all. Check, score goals, fight, pass. Another absolute throwback. The legend of Randy McKay. Love me some Randy McKay. What a treat it was to grow up watching guys like him. Max, you're a little late, sir. Any word on Big Mac yet? Oh, yeah, Max. The toughest man in the National is in the lineup tonight. Max. Curtis McDermott will be out there and hopefully looking to break Matt Rempe's face. Personally. Zupamaki, 1 hour to go. I'm getting nervous. Let's go. Jason, no, tonight's an important game. Devils have a tough schedule after tonight. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit before as well. Tampa Bay, Panthers, Leafs, all in a row. And then and then after that, we have 2 teams that are still, trying to stay relevant. Flyers and Sens. And they're both in the hunt for the wild card spot and that second wild card spot as well. And then we got Bruins and Canadians after that. I mean, yeah, wow. This is just, the Eastern Conference showdowns here for the rest of the month. Just teams that are all desperate for points. Tampa and Toronto coming up. We haven't beat either this year. Yeah, hopefully we can get that monkey off our back in the next matchups. Waldo, what's our record with him in the lineup? I believe our record with the toughest man in the National in the lineup now is 10-4-1. 10-4-1, I believe. Someone could check me on that. Ace, good. Rubs hands together menacingly. Seth, get Dino on your broadcast. Are you referring to Dino Cicerelli, or was that supposed to say Dano? Stick Figs, another news. Nason is leading the NHL in goals in the net front at 5. What a magician down there. Stefan Nason, just, you guys know I love our junkyard dog. What an absolute get by Fitz. this offseason, and his office is right in front of that net, and he's getting it done. Just some beautiful plays throughout the season, and hopefully we could see him kind of reactivated tonight as well. Hopefully we see a big game out of Nason. I'm expecting quite the show, and I'm hoping my two biggest hopes of the game are, the heavier, edgier, more violent stuff. Obviously, we need to come out smashing. Got to come out smashing, number one. And then number two, got to play defensively responsible. It's been too long since we've seen that record-setting defense. It needs to make an appearance tonight. Got to make an appearance tonight. Who is your player to watch tonight besides Jackie Boy? I'm going to go with Timo. Just because he's been buzzing, I do think the rivalry brings out the extra level beast in Timo. He does have a little bit of that Claw Lemieux agitator in him, and he had so many chances last game. I think it's only a matter of time, but I do think we're going to see a big game from Timo Meier hopefully tonight. He's punishing guys, being a menace, and hopefully burying one. Would love to see Timo get a goal tonight. Natural Canopy, Tampa and Toronto are contenders this year. Maybe Toronto. Tampa can make a run, but they are on a decline. Again, the same thing I say about the Rangers. They have Vasilevsky. Anytime you got a guy like that, I am never counting one of those teams out ever. If you have a guy like Vasilevsky, you're always in the game. You are always in the game, and they just have too many guys that have been there before. I know they lost Stammer, but they're still fairly loaded, and I'll never count them out. Kucherov and Hedman, I mean, they just got Point. They just got some really good players, and if they get hot at the right time, I believe that they could win. I honestly would say I would believe Tampa has a better chance of a true run than Toronto does. Oh, my man, Richard Zimmer. Thank you very much, sir. Ace, this one, you do. Epic fan, refill your stock on Dirty Devils vodka. Let's go Devils. Cheers to you, Richard. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Let's go Devils. If you guys haven't checked it out, obviously, I'll put the link in the description as well. Dirty Devil vodka, the official vodka of the great Martin Brodeur, smooth as hell. You could now buy it directly online, and they'll ship it to your house, which is phenomenal. You could also use their little store locator on the website to try to see what stores near you sell it. But if not, and you're one of these online people that orders everything online, it seems like the whole world is that way, they now will ship it straight to your house in most states. A lot of you are maybe in other places, but thank you very much, Richard. Much appreciated. Yeah, wow. We're getting close. Oh, wow. It's 6:15. Time flies on this damn thing. I lose track of time. Crazy, man. If you had to pick a person to be captain besides Nico, who would it be? That's a hard one. If I had to pick a captain besides Nico, that's a hard one because usually you want a guy that you think is going to be here long term. In most cases, I don't know. I guess you would have to default to, tons of people would probably say Jack. I probably wouldn't. I'd probably say Brad or probably Brad. I mean, there's not a lot of options really, in my opinion. So I'd probably just say Brad for lack of there being someone more worthy. Jay Snow, I'm gonna say Jack. Don't score. That's the obvious pick, so probably won't happen. BC trivia. Peter Sidorkiewicz played goalie for us in the early 90s at 5'8", and the well-known Andy Moog was 5'9". I don't think guys that short can play today's NHL in net. I mean, listen, I don't think we would get a chance to know because they wouldn't be put in the position. Now, could there be a guy that could possibly do it? Maybe, but you'll never know because I think guys that small just wouldn't get drafted. I don't think guys would get drafted at that size. But I actually have I have a Peter Sidorkiewicz Albany River Rats mask when I click off of this. And he actually wore it in a Devils game right there on the bottom shelf there. That's a Peter Sidorkiewicz River Rats mask that he did wear for, I think, one period in NHL action for the Devils. Also, Tampa has a really good offense. Yeah, Seth, it's not Danico's nickname is not Dino, it's Dano, D-A-N-O. Just like how Danico's D-A-N-E-Y-K-O, it's Dano. It's a play on Dano, not Dino. D-A-N-O. They came out great against the Rangers last game. Haven't seen that team since. Hopefully we see it again tonight. I'm all over the place here. For Devil, I'm picking our captain having a game tonight. I mean, listen, he's had 2 goals in each of the first 2 games. I'm picking him to have a good game as well. And hopefully we see some monster games out of some other guys. We'll on the shot clock here. It's crazy. Pre-game starting so soon. So soon, I'm fired up. Fired up. Max, Dano is the nickname of Danico. Laugh my ass off. Crazy man, I'm going to the Tampa game Saturday night, a team we haven't beat. I expect the boys to come out tough and definitely not start Allen because we know what happened last time. I was at that game. It was tragic. It was completely tragic. I hope we do not see a forced Jake Allen start. I am hoping we see another great performance from Markey tonight, and they have the confidence to go back to him. I will give only one little spoiler from the great Martin Brodeur interview on Cam and Strick. Marty does say that Jacob Markstrom wants to play every game, and that's all I'm going to say. It's a great little segment within the interview, but check out that interview. It's a great interview. The pregame on TV gets super exciting. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but I always have to watch it. Doug, Jesper would be my pick at captain besides Nico. Obviously, Jack is our franchise guy, but Jesper conducts himself very professionally. I agree with that. Crazy man, Brad has gone so hard for the past 6 years on the team. This man is still not assistant captain. He will be whenever Palat's gone. John Woodson, Nico is a great player, not a great captain. He doesn't go in the locker room and hold someone accountable, which we need. That's, we don't really know. I would agree that that's probably the perception, but I don't know if it's true. We really don't know. That is definitely speculation, but I typically, Woodson is old school like myself, and I when I think of captains, I think of guys that are like yelling at guys and stuff. I think the modern day athletes, I don't think they like that stuff. They're very sensitive, and I don't think they respond to that sort of thing. I think if you saw footage of, in between periods of a game from the mid 90s versus now, I think it would be shockingly different. Shockingly different. Stick figs, I'd say Jesper Brad if Nico isn't captain. 6th round draft pick to top performer. He's a producer. He's got the heart, as demonstrated in that beautiful shit for Chicago. Oh, man. Play of the year right after shift of the year. Doug Woodson, you cannot be any more wrong on that take. London, John, how would you know what makes them stick together every game? Don't even. I agree. We don't know. Jay Snow, how do you know what Nico does in the locker room? I don't know how he would know. BC, that's badass, Ace. Is that the mask, maybe? Doug, Nico is the captain of the Devils, period. Agreed. Dino and McDermott. Yeah, John Woodson. Yeah, captain always looks like he wants to cry. His works for us when we need our asses kicked to wake up. I think people lead in different ways. I am obviously of the Scott Stevens captaincy generation, and so, I typically would like a captain like that, a guy that, just could give a teammate or a team a guy on the opposing team just the death glare, and you already know what time it is. I don't know. I just think that a lot of sports in general have kind of moved away from that sort of thing. Stick fix, guys, are we team ace where starters should start, or are we team dangle and analytics with 1A, 1B? Sergeant Buckcake, Nico leads by example for sure. Meadowlander, isn't the origin of the nickname Dano from the Hawaii 5-0 TV series? I'm actually not sure now that you mentioned that. I know that was a character, and it's probably maybe where they got the idea from. But obviously, if his last name wasn't Danico, they would have never attributed that. They would have never used it. So it would be interesting to know the exact first person who ever said it, and the full kind of origin of it. But, if his name was Kenny Smith, no one would have ever called him Dano. I don't think. But this might require some further investigation. Doug, Nico leads by example for sure. Jace, no, that's not today's NHL guys screaming all the time. Coaches don't even scream at players like that. Yeah, it's a whole new world. A whole new world. BC, I know it's definitely not popular opinion, but in the 90s, I wanted Dino Cicerelli and Ty Domi on our team. Would have been nuts to add them alongside Dano and Stevens in terms of grit. I mean, oh my God, you're talking about like a 90s just dream team of toughness. You're talking about Stevens, Dano, Cicerelli, and Ty Domi. My God. Jason, no, look across all sports coaches, baby players now. For the most part, it does seem that way. For love of people, they should give Foot more games. He's getting better all the time. Nice hit and fight last game. I've been waiting for him to get another chance, as I'm waiting for Hallinan and Legary. It doesn't seem like these guys are going to get a crack. I don't know what the deal is. We've seen a lot of call-ups on the season, but Hallinan was not one of them, and Foot got, a game or two? Astro, perchance, another line brawl tonight. What are the odds? Not very good. If there was a betting line, a line brawl would be like plus 10,000. Doug, I bet people have said the same thing about McDavid, another soft-spoken captain who leads by example. Yet when the tough got going, they were down 0-3, who woke their team up with rage and passion. Yeah, I saw that on that Amazon series. I mean, he had a meltdown in the locker room. Pretty wild. Pretty wild, and obviously he was fired up. He wanted to get back in that series more than anything, and credit to the Oilers and him. They won 3 in a row before they ultimately fell short of completing that mega epic comeback and lost that game 7. Stick fix, 40 minutes out, time to start the walk home. Let's go Devils, keep the sweep alive. Jason, no, Tampa just lost 4 in a row, so John Cooper is a bad coach for them. Devils 25. He sure has the 4th most primary assist ever, 138 by a Swiss player. Nice. Very nice. Carson Cooper, Jackhughes has a 9% shooting percentage. I think a lot of that has to do with him just shooting a lot of bad angle shots as of late, as the Devils were kind of desperate for a win, I think, in some of those games. But he does that in a lot of games as well sometimes. Astro, Devils need to win this game or they're moving down the leaderboard because the team's coming up. Yeah, every game is big. Huge 2 points on the line. SJ, Rangers played decent versus a very good Dallas team. Devils have to be ready. I mean, yeah, if you consider blowing a 3-0 lead decent, I mean, wow, how do you blow a 3-0 lead? Given where they were, I mean, that had to be a devastating loss. For love of people, yeah, Hallinan should get more games too. Jace, no, yeah, the Devils shooting percentage is below league average. And John Woodson says Jack is flash, but no bang. Well, my friends, we go into battle. Your New Jersey Devils are about, 40 minutes or so away from puck drop at the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, where they will take on the New York Rangers. And hopefully we are treated to the next chapter of the Matt Rempe, Curtis McDermott, trilogy at least. Hopefully it's at least a trilogy. John Woodson, shooting percentage is low because they rely on shooting from the outside. It takes grit and hard work to generate slot chances. We do take a lot of shots from the perimeter, but in some of those games, I don't know. I believe the team is going to right the ship again. We're going to get back to something much more along the lines of the pre-holiday break team. John Fay, it's almost time for war at the Garden. Jay Snow, Woodson, you'd love to hate on Jack. Jeff, Rangers humiliated by Devils Part 3 loading. I hope you're right. Seth, I am ready to be entertained. I am so ready to be entertained. Doug, let's go Devils. Sean House, Devils need to kick some ass and get their physical play back up. I fully agree. For whatever reason, they have gone away from the heavier, edgier, more violent. And when you look at it, it all kind of goes hand in hand, right? It's like, as of late, they're not playing as physical. The defense got a little sloppier. The top guys are struggling. It all goes hand in hand. It all has to start coming back together in unison. Tighten up the defense, play physical, heavier, edgier, more violent, and hopefully, it culminates in the team being better overall and winning some games again. But that's it for now, my friends. I am going to load up the pregame. I hope Keefe has the fortitude to put McDermott out there to start the game. I would love it. I would absolutely love it. Scott Armstrong. I think the Rangers are coming out for blood this game. Need everyone to keep their heads up. We have physicality. Worried about a cheap shot, if I'm being honest. It's a frustrated group over there. They ain't going to do nothing. They aren't going to do nothing. Richard, let's go Devils. Time to be entertained. Heavier, edgier, more violent. Where could I watch the pregame? It's on MSG Network. If you get MSG. If not, then I don't know. There probably isn't one. But I'm talking about the Devils local broadcast. And that's it, guys. Thank you all for coming out to the pregame. Hopefully it's another big Devils win. We're celebrating in the post game. I'll be back. I think it's 10:15, but I could see this one taking a little bit longer than normal, so it could get delayed a couple minutes. But obviously, as soon as MSG goes off the air, your boy comes on the air. Hopefully we are drinking Victory Vodka and celebrating a Devils win, and hopefully another Rempe beatdown. But thanks you guys for showing up. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.